This is live TV, right? So this is breaking news in real time. It turns out that the Georgia Secretary of State's office has issued a correction to a statement that they sent out earlier today, saying that they have certified their results and that they were final. And we'll get more into what they said in that statement just a little while ago. So it seems as if they're reversing an earlier announcement and saying that the certification to be completed later today. So they're still in the process of certifying, and that should be done later today. Not sure why they issued that yet. We'll reach out to them. But now look, the White House position is, despite certification in Georgia and other states, that they feel there is still no conclusive winner so far, saying that the election results are still pending litigation. Listen.
The president, again, is pursuing ongoing litigation.
That was Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany just a short time ago here at the White House saying that. Now let's get back to the statement that the Georgia Secretary of State did send out a little bit earlier today. In that statement, they said that his office affirms that the results are, quote, a true and correct tabulation of the certified returns from each county. The statement also set up the possibility for a recount. This, of course, after the state already did what was called a hand recount. A lot of people had referred to that. Even the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, had referred to that as an audit. Now, that's not how the Trump team feels about it, and we're probably going to see more litigation from them on that front, calling for a closer verification of signatures and validation of ballots. And a lot of Georgians we talk to actually feel that way. They do not feel that this was in any way an audit that ensures the integrity of ballots. There also was the question of missing ballots that were found, by the thousands in at least 3 different counties during this hand recount. And that has resulted in the firing of an elections official in Floyd County. We're also being told by sources in Georgia that there are going to be further personnel changes in Georgia based on what's been going on. There's some questions about Cobb County, Cherokee County, and several others in that state. Now, despite all this and continued questions, there are many in Washington, D.C., including Senator Lamar Alexander, who are calling for a peaceful and a unified transition, something that Kayleigh McEnany said in today's briefing that President Trump wasn't afforded. Listen.
A lot about transfer of power in the election, and it's worth remembering that this president was never given an orderly transition of power. His presidency was never accepted. In fact, before his election, we know Crossfire Hurricane was launched by Peter Strzok to pursue baseless allegations about the president's ties with Russia. That's before he was president, trying to subvert the will of the American people.
So the press secretary noting all the investigations that were underway during the transition of President Trump in late 2016, early 2017, Bob.
Yeah, and just if folks are just joining us, Emerald, we wanted to let them know that we're getting reports that, and this is very unusual. I mean, usually the process goes, we know Florida was unusual in 2000, okay? We know that took 5 weeks, and that it was, I think, 37 days, came down to 537 votes, something like that. In this case, this process has been really kind of odd. So we had the hand recount in Georgia, and then we had certification today. Now, they sent you something saying that, correct?
Yeah. No, this was sent out by the Secretary of State's office, and according to the Washington Post article, they acknowledge that, and that this is actually a quote-unquote correction. Okay. So they're correcting what they said earlier, though they say that they're on track to certify by the end of the day. Now, we know that is something that Brian Kemp, the governor, has wanted to do. Today was essentially the deadline in Georgia. I will tell you, though, based on sources that we are talking to in Georgia, there have been meetings of GOP lawmakers, Georgia House lawmakers today. There's a lot of talk about, they're investigating things, it sounds like, behind the scenes. So while Georgia might get certified today, there's clearly going to be pending litigation, and it's still sort of a state in flux. And Representative Matt Gaetz was in an interview yesterday, and he was suggesting that the Trump team stay really focused on Georgia.
Yeah.
Despite certification.
Yeah, and so people know they certified, then the Secretary of State saying, we have a correction. We're still in process, expect to do it later today. And Emerald, just to underscore for people, the certification means something to us as far as the process is concerned. But as we said, as I said just a few moments ago, if those certifications were to be undone or something else happens, then we can rescind that appropriately.
Right. And that's an important thing to point out, Bob, because even in the statement from the Secretary of State for Georgia, they did note that there's the possibility, I think the Trump team has like 2 days to file for another recount.
Right, exactly. And that would be a machine recount.
And then there's also, it's kind of pending anything that might come up and investigate. It doesn't mean how the last sentence of that statement was, is that there's still opportunity for investigation.
Yeah, Emerald, thank you.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.